Excuse me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us tonight on episode 24, season 6 of the Standoff with Brad and Richie here on New Zealand Sport Radio. We're live here on Wednesdays on Facebook and YouTube throughout the season. I did a bit of last-minute counting, mate, and it's our 200th episode tonight. I think when we did the 100th, we actually celebrated, but we're not good with numbers here, so no, not really any celebrations, nothing planned. But evening, Richie. We know now how the Knights felt with the last-minute loss of the Dolphins in a round of footy where the top four sides all looked a bit shaky. How are you, and what did you think of the round?
Yeah, you caught us on the hop, Brad, with that late announcement. I feel like I'm not mentally prepared for such an occasion. We're not going to make a big enough deal of it.
No. Sorry. It was literally
another week.
Like, move on.
Another show.
It was 200, whatever. Next.
Yeah. It's so nonchalant.
How are you anyway?
Yeah, I'm good. Like I said, 200th thing I figured out about 20 minutes ago. So it is what it is. But yeah, good. Disappointing game to watch in person, obviously.
Curse.
I was explaining it. Yeah, I am the curse at the moment. We can't bloody win a home game. I was explaining it to the missus when we got home, saying I went into the game expecting a heavy loss. Expected that about a few minutes in with what Herbie was doing. Then the Warriors got my self-belief back by playing, pretty good. Looked like we're going to get the win, and then right at the end, they pulled the rug from me. So a huge roller coaster of emotions, which we'll talk about later when we review that game. But while we're live here on Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m, you can also catch our show at your convenience on iHeartRadio and Spotify. Just remember, search for New Zealand Sport Radio. As always, we're going to cover everything you need to know in the week that was rugby league, including our top stories of the week, a review of the round 22 matches. We'll then take a look at the ladder fantasy teams, if we can even call them that anymore, and the tipping comp. We'll then answer some questions from you guys, as well as questions we're prepared for each other, and then we'll review round 23 and make our picks. So remember to send us comments and questions throughout the show, and we may as well jump straight into it, Matt.
Yep, sounds good.
I was just talking with Paul before we went live about this. Didn't ask your opinion because I knew I was about to once we hit the live button. But the NRL announced that they have officially changed the definition of rookie. So now if you've played 5 professional games in Union or Sevens, you're ruled out, so you can't win Rookie of the Year at the Dally Ends. I explained I get the decision, saying I think I brought up going all the way back when John Kerwin joined the Warriors, mate. You wouldn't call him a rookie. And but I guess most people are a bit put out by the timing of it. This should have been something they announced earlier in the year as opposed to now. I did the conspiracy hat theory saying Peter V'landys doesn't want a rugby union guy winning an award. But I don't think it's that really. But what do you reckon? Other than the fact that it helps us get Leka Halasima closer to that award.
It does. But I don't care either way. But it's just weird that it's announced it now. There's been a lot of media coverage and talk about the possible Rookie of the Year contenders and Marky Mark being one of them. And now it's definitely not. But yeah, it's just stranger timing. But it is what it is.
I think there's still a big shot that he's going to end up in the Team of the Year, maybe. I know he's been flittering between wing and centre. I think he could very well get one of the wing spots, maybe, with how he's been going. So I don't think it's going to stop him too much. And like Paul had said beforehand, I don't think he's really there aiming to try to get the Rookie of the Year award. I think he's trying to get some good footy under his belt and try to actually win a championship. So it is what it is. But yeah, hopefully they learn from this to any big changes they want to do it in the off season. So you hit the ground running knowing. But we'll move on. I have an update on this bit that I gave you, but the Bulldogs had been rumored to have lodged a complaint with the NRL as they claim the Tigers gave the Arab middle finger to their fans while celebrating a try. The NRL have since issued the Tiger players a formal warning for using I think it's COD or COD, I don't know how you say it, towards the fans in their win over the Doggies. No, I think I used the picture in our thumbnail, so it's not that offensive. It's almost like I don't know. I feel like I'm doing gang signs here, and I'll get us in trouble with someone.
It's one of those middle fingers is tucked, right?
Yeah, I think it's like that one or something. Mixed opinions online. Some people saying that it's not actually as offensive as the NRL making out. Others saying it is. I think it's a big bit of nothing. If the NRL wanted to draw a line in the sand, at least they didn't find them. So yeah, give them a formal warning if you want. But what do you reckon, Richie?
A warning. I think if that's what they get, that's probably sufficient. If some people deem it offensive, then I guess they can't stand by. If it's deemed a culturally insensitive thing to do, they've got to be seen to do something about it.
Yeah, or you could just let a guy that tried killing people when he was drugged up play footy, because that's not as bad as doing hand signals, I guess. But yeah, and Simon said the heavy metal hand signal for love. Yeah. But yeah, I thought I'd better mention it because it's I think they were struggling, the poor old media over in Australia, to find something to rip about the Tigers after they beat the Bulldogs. So they had to find something, mate. We'll go on to more fines and drama. The Panthers.
The rookie thing. I think what it actually shows you is just how. I mean, look, Marky Marquez can't be the only guy to have come over from rugby union to league, and for them to have to make this change for him shows that he's actually adapted really, really well, and that most union players don't adapt well. And so I think that's probably just if anything, it's kind of his crap that they've changed the rules because of him.
I think some of them do. A lot of them adapt really well, just not as quick.
Yeah.
That's
what I mean. Like, yeah. You can always learn that. Yeah, but I mean, just adapting. Yeah, is speed. It's how quickly he's come from nothing to something.
Yeah, when they announced him, I wasn't even sure he'd be a regular first grader at this point of the season yet. I thought it might have taken him a bit longer than basically from round one. But more drama with the fines and stuff, mate. Panthers. We talked about them before on the show about their trainers, but the Panthers, obviously there was the trainer that tried to ran the wrong way, basically, and ran in front of the guy taking the conversion. The Panthers released a statement and said that the actions of the trainer were an honest mistake and there was no intent to breach the rules or gain an advantage. The NRL have since proposed a 5-match suspension for the trainer and a $50,000 fine for the Panthers after the trainer breached the NRL code of conduct. They have 5 days to respond to the breach. There's been a lot of discussions about it. Gus Gould says there's nothing wrong with it and it's just been a beat up. Very different opinion, I think, if it was the Bulldogs involved. And then Braithen Nasta actually made a good point, which I don't like saying, but he said he doesn't think it was a mistake. He said, how many times have you seen this happen in rugby league? Never. So he's either the dumbest trainer or he did it on purpose. The Panthers trainers have done so much dodgy stuff, so I can't say it was a mistake. And most trainers in that situation go off over the dead ball line rather than running, 50 meters on the field out of the way. I don't think it. I'm not gonna. I don't think Jaden Campbell was disrupted too much by the stuff anyway. But you don't want the NRL definitely don't want those seeds of doubt going. Well, the coulda wouldas that happened, and the Titans had already been. We'll talk about it in a little bit. They'd already been given a hard go with a penalty try that wasn't given. So I think they were really making sure.
I saw somewhere that it happened against the Panthers when they were playing the Eels, and Cleary was lining up a kick, and the Eels trainer ran in front of the post.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I don't remember that.
It's actually happened to the Panthers before.
That's where they got the idea from.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I know a lot of people are talking about it's a big fine and stuff, but it's clear the NRL don't want to see this happen again, so they're making a statement, I guess. And
it's either intentional or it is an honest mistake, but it's just a very dumb one.
Yeah, but I guess most head highs in the NRL are honest mistakes too, right? And they still get punished. So
yeah,
rightly or wrongly. We'll go one more, mate. Joining Ezra Mam, James Hooper was sacked by Fox Sports and he stepped down, not sacked, but stepped down from Triple M after being charged for driving way over the legal limit. I think it was 3 or 4 times over the legal limit, and he crashed into 3 parked cars before then running away on foot. Not the first time he's got into issues around the drink. But the first time he's actually been punished by his employer for it. I don't really have much more to add. I just thought it was at that time when I wrote it down, there wasn't a lot of news, so I thought we better talk about it. You got anything to say? I don't mind not seeing him on TV. So
yeah, it's not gonna miss it, but yeah, it's just dumb. Just dumb.
Because I know it was he was on a last straw with them because he missed most of his media commitments in Vegas because he was a bit too inebriated to do anything because he went over to Vegas to party. So he had a very tight leash. We'll see where he goes next. And there was a comment from Jacko, so we'll talk about it now, about the lady in the bunker. The NRL have dropped Casey Badger from the bunker duties this week after conceding that she should have given the Titans a penalty try when Philip Sami was hit high and basically knocked out on the way to scoring. Everyone on the plane. And that one definitely, because he was I would have gone penalty try. He was scoring that one. And watching her do the bunker and then start her footage immediately after the high contact. When everyone, I'm pretty sure even the ref asked to check the contact as well. So I don't know, a big stuff up there, which just added more to the fire with how the Panthers got out of that game as victors. Especially when, as I think you mentioned in your notes later, there were a lot of other fans from other clubs cheering the Titans on in that one. So yeah, she's been dropped. I don't know if it's for a week or for longer. We'll see. And then we get into a little bit of rumors about players moving on before we have Peter V'landys segment, Matt. So the Sharks are looking at moving Braden Hamunueli and Siosifa Talakai out at the end of the year. Apparently, they both had a tap on the shoulder and told they're welcome to go to another club if they get the offer. Maybe poor old Braden might be winding back the clock and thinking when that massive deal the Warriors tried to get him for may have been the right idea.
Should have taken it.
Yeah. Hindsight's a beautiful thing. And I don't know. I'm sure there'll be one or two NRL clubs that might be interested in picking these guys up. But if not, they'll end up in Super League, I imagine. But
Talakai, surely someone.
Yeah,
could definitely be someone like him.
There'll be someone that'll pick them up, but we'll see what happens. And Jagger says Guy is 2 Tigers from Panthers. I hadn't heard that. That's a good signing for the Tigers to get him. Ruben Garrick's also rumored to be going to market in November. Pretty sure there'll be a lot of teams that would want to pick him up. Decent centre, winger, and a hell of a goal kicker. So I'm sure he'll go. Yeah, we could do with a goal kicker and a winger. And Jerome Luai has spoken about being committed to the Tigers, saying that he's going nowhere. So we'll see how true that stays, but it probably gives the Tigers a bit of a sigh of relief. Anything you want to add to any of that stuff before we get into Volandis?
No, happy. Let's get into Volandis.
Volandis was in the media everywhere, and there was a million bloody things he said. But I did the main three things that I thought. He was asked again about the R360 competition, and he said he's not worried about it until someone shows him their business model and how they're going to sustain themselves. Very similar to what Paul has said on the show already about it's one thing getting it started, but will it actually survive and thrive? If it becomes a genuine competition that actually happens every year, then you could start to worry about losing players to it. But at the moment, it's still just ideas. He also spoke about Netflix and Amazon being interested in the NRL broadcast rights as the Vegas matches have caught their attention. I personally don't know if that's true or not. I'm not in the room. It could just be a shrewd way of trying to add a few more zeros to your current deal. If they're hearing they might lose it to Amazon or Netflix. If it could end up being a Netflix or Amazon exclusive in America instead of everywhere. It'd be a lot cheaper if it went to Netflix because I already have a Netflix subscription. So get rid of Sky, mate, and then be happy as Larry.
I wouldn't mind at all.
But and Simon actually says Disney Plus actually might be a good idea for the NRL because they do broadcast sport and they have ESPN.
They have the NBA and stuff on there, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be a good idea if they could get it. I think it's all just trying to get more money out of their current offers. But
Netflix don't tend to do live sport. They'll do your Drive to Survive stuff.
Yeah, they do boxing and they do WWE wrestling, which you can't call a sport, but that is live.
Of course it is.
They do 2 live shows a week on there, or 3, and then they have their big shows that they do, and they've been doing reasonably well. I know when they tried the boxing the first time, everyone was having issues. Less numbers watching the wrestling than the boxing, and there'll be less numbers watching the league than the wrestling.
But your Amazon has done like rugby union before and other live stuff, so that's a possible. Netflix. I can see them want to do behind the scenes documentary kind of stuff, absolutely. But live, I can't see Netflix wanting to get into live sport. I wouldn't have thought. It's not generally their wheelhouse.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think it's all hullabaloo anyway. I don't believe a lot of what Volandis says most of the time. And then the last one I thought I'd grab to ask you about, Matt, he said the NRL's exploring the option of bringing Origin to New Zealand in 2027. So we've talked about it, saying like we don't really care if they bring it here. If they do bring it here, we'd probably go, unless it's at Eden Park. But yeah, so they're open to bringing it up. I think that was tagged on to his talk about eligibility and stuff anyway. But yeah, any thoughts on all of that stuff?
No, my stance hasn't changed. I don't really care, but if it were here, I would go, and it would sell out easily. So, it would work, but I believe it when it's announced, and when it is here, I'll be lining up for a ticket, even though I say I don't care.
Yeah, and I think Jacko said a few weeks ago, if the Kiwis that are really into Origin want to go to Origin, go to Australia. But yeah, if it ends up here sitting on our lap, mate, I'll probably go, unless it's at Eden Park, like I said. Which Jacko's actually talking about the test matches, which is our next segment. Pacific Championship draw has been announced. I put up the pictures for Paul. So the men, we've got the Pacific Cup, we've got the Kiwis, Samoa, and Tonga. Round 1 will be played at Go Media Stadium, New Zealand, Samoa. Round 2 will be Samoa and Tonga in Suncorp. Then round 3 will be Kiwis, Tonga, in Eden Park, with the final being in Australia. And then for the bowl, we've got Fiji, Cook Islands in round 1, PNG Cook Islands round 2. Then the final round, PNG Fiji in the final. Not the final game. Highest team wins in that one. And then for the girls, we have in the cup the Kiwis and Samoa and Australia. Obviously, the final also in Australia for that. And then the Pacific Bowl, we got the PNG, Tonga, and Cook Islands. So as I was explaining to Paul, I was talking with, I put in the chat with you and Ruin Hammer saying, I think it's a silly idea having the final in Australia when Australian men aren't in it. As Paul reminded me today, the Australian women are in there. But I feel like you could get a better crowd in New Zealand for this if it was New Zealand versus Samoa and New Zealand versus Tonga, or Samoa versus Tonga, if you had it at, dare I say, at Eden Park, or if you took it to Wellington or something. But Australia want international footy too, I guess. I'm just hoping they actually turn up for it. Nothing worse than having like a final there, and there's like half a stadium full.
I think either way, or whoever makes the final of that, there'll be people wanting to get along.
Yeah,
if it's Samoa versus Tonga.
Oh, it'll be a cracker, and
yeah,
I think New Zealand will make the final, just off regular history. But it all depends how many of those current Kangaroos get lured over to Samoa, because if they have real good teams.
Even if we make it, we've got so many expat Kiwis over there.
Yeah, but and Simon said, didn't we have the Pacific Nations Cup final in Hamilton, and that had lower? It was Rotorua.
Yeah.
Oh no, was it? It was Rotorua, wasn't it?
It was.
It was Hamilton.
It was Hamilton, wasn't it? That was the one where we beat Aussie.
We thrashed them.
But there was no one in the crowd.
Yeah. Well, that's what you get for taking it down. If you had it at Mount Smart or Wellington, I think you would have got a better crowd. I didn't even go, though, to be fair. I wasn't driving to Hamilton for it. But the irony in that is I probably would have driven to Wellington. But yeah, there was a reason I didn't go. I can't remember what it was. But I did have a reason for not going, but I watched it at home. And yeah, someone reminded me, the Indigenous All-Stars was in Rotorua. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, it'd be good to have international footy. I can't sit here and be disappointed because that's all we talk about is we want more international footy. So the fact we're into year 3 of this Pacific international fixtures after the NRL announced it, I kind of thought we'd have one all done. But yeah, hopefully the Kiwis.
2019 obviously got it sort of shut down during COVID, got cancelled in COVID, and then also got cancelled in and then 21-22 it didn't happen because of the Rugby League World Cup and COVID. But so it's had 4 editions since.
Is it 4? I thought it was only 3. I thought this is because we won the first one, Australia won the second. This is the third.
So 2019
in this format. Yeah, in this format though, I think it's the new version that they've done.
It looks pretty similar in the format. Anyway,
Australians can't think that far ahead, Paul. They just took the same idea and gave it a new name. But yeah, it'll be good to see.
The other thing to point out is that these are all double headers, aren't they? So the cup for the men's and the women's will both happen at the same time, and the same with the bowl by the looks of things.
Double headers for the Kiwi games here. I'm going to try to get tickets for the Go Media Stadium one against Samoa. One, I am a fan of Samoa, and 2, it's at Go Media Stadium. Eden Park against Tonga. I'd love to go watch some there, watch Tonga, but I don't think I'm going to travel to Eden Park. I'll be, so I'll probably watch that at home. But we'll move on to signings, mate. Had a couple. First, the Rabbitohs announced they've signed Warrior Ed Cossey on a 2-year deal from 2026. So they're liking the outside backs from the Warriors at the moment. Hope he does well there. He's been absolutely unstoppable in New South Wales Cup, but unfortunately that hasn't transferred to first grade. Got a hat trick in the weekend. And that game the week before, when I watched it live, he was doing stuff I've never seen him do ever before. But yeah, hopefully under the watchful eye of Wayne Bennett, they can try to rejuvenate his first grade career. So I wish him nothing but the best, but probably best that the Warriors move on from him and he has another go. I swear, your thoughts on Eddie leaving us?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're referring to him doing last week, throwing in chip kicks for tries and whatnot. I have not seen that from Big Ed, and I love Big Ed. I think he's an awesome bloke, but he's just not getting the game time, the first grade game time opportunities here, and I don't begrudge him for exploring another avenue. I wish him all the best.
Yeah, and Jago says Kossi great cup player, but step up to first grade has been too much so far. Yeah, he'll have moments where he looks really good in first grade, but it's more often than not you're going to get the bad side of him, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully this moving away from home, he'll either sink or swim. So hopefully he swims. The Sea Eagles have also announced that they've released Toff Sipley from his final year of his contract. When I heard it, I thought he was going to end up being a Warrior. Heard that he was, usually only let them out due to homesickness, but he is taking up a deal with the Warrington Wolves in the Super League. Not that we needed Sipley, but I've always been a fan of him, so I always like seeing them come home. But he'll crush it in Warrington, as most NRL players do when they go up there. The Bulldogs also announced they've signed Kate Dykes from the Sharks on a 1-year deal for next year. Handy depth pickup, I think.
Yep.
And then we had some extension. Seals extended Ethan Bullimore until the end of 2029. So a big deal for him. And the Cowboys extended Braden Burns on a 1-year deal. So he's got 1 year for 2026.
Nice.
All handy.
Yeah.
We'll go to injuries. Got quite a few yet again, running theme. Biggest one that everyone's talked about, Herbie Farnworth from the Dolphins. Got sniped, did his hamstring. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. So disappointing for them, but if they stay the way they're going, he'll be back for finals, which I think they'll really value. Xavier Willinson from the Broncos fractured his forearm. He's out for 8 weeks. Jacob Laban broke his leg, or had his leg broken, I should say. He is out for 6 weeks. Wade Egan from the Warriors, shoulder injury after having a week off, mate. Week off for the concussion, then he hurt his shoulder in training. He's out indefinitely at this stage. They're saying it's week to week, which is never a good sign.
Healy did really well.
Healy did do really well, so that is at least a silver lining. Robert Derby from the Cowboys, suspected MCL injury. They said around 3 to 6 weeks at best. Sean Russell fractured his hand from the Eels. His season may be over. They're not sure. He might sneak back, but where they are on the ladder, they might just let him end early. And then Brendan Piakora from the Broncos, he had a head knock at training and has an 11-day stand down. So any thoughts on all of those overall? I feel that you might talk about the Laban one a little bit later, but
yeah. It's good that Piakora is getting his 11-day stand down from a training incident. It's nice and honest of the Broncos.
It is. That might have been one they kept close to their chest. But yeah, I think devil's advocate here. I think if it was a Reece Walsh or Katoni Staggs, it might have slipped under the medical report. But we'll move on to Naughty Boys. We've got 3. Alex Seifert from Tigers. He's got a 3-match ban for a grade 2 careless high tackle.
He's angry, wasn't he?
Very angry. All the Tigers were angry in that one. That's what it looked like almost, Paul. Jesse Colquhoun, he got a 1 match for a grade 2 dangerous contact, and then Felice Kafusi got a grade 2 dangerous contact 2-match ban for snapping Jacob Laban's leg. Man.
Yeah, we might as well talk about it now then.
Yeah, I feel biased here because I'm always like I would normally say it's a good tackle and whatnot, but he hurt one of our boys.
One of our good young boys too.
I'd like to say it wasn't on purpose, but he does it so often that you have to think. And I know there was a great bit of journalism. Gordon Tallis was ripping into everyone for saying it was a good tackle, and saying like people, just because the kid broke his leg, you shouldn't be ripping into Felice. And then someone found from 2013 a quote from Gordon talking about the exact same tackle, the cannonball tackle, saying it needs to be outlawed from the game, and if anyone does it, they should never play again. So in a couple of in like basically a decade, he's changed his mind on it. But it didn't look that severe live. But yeah, it's disappointing for Jacob, and I feel like there's players that have had a lot more games added to their suspension due to injuries like that. But yeah, and Jagosi Kafusi's a repeat offender. He should at least got 4 weeks. It was deliberate. Yeah, I think due to him, he's just come back from a suspension.
Yeah,
I think
and
that
there's only really going to be one outcome from his action there.
Yeah,
it's going to hurt.
Yeah, he was already well wrapped up in that, and then he comes in low as the third man, and they've been real interested in trying to critique, like get the third man in out of the game. And it's a situation that it doesn't always end up like this, but it's never good. I think, yeah, due to his recent history, he should have got longer. But then there's been, I can't even remember who it was that broke Tamati Martin's. Oh, it was both. It was Frizzell. Frizzell broke Tamati Martin's leg, and then the next season broke Luke Metcalf's and got nothing. But they weren't as deliberate as this. But yeah, it is what it is, mate. I feel like if it was the other way around, Jacob Laban would be spending at least a month on the sidelines as a ban. But that's simple hat's been put on again. So that's it for all the news. We'll quickly do NRLW. Magic Round, mate. Worst weather to have Magic Round.
It's awful.
So the crowds weren't that big. The way that all the games are tied up, you either have to pick watching the NRLW game or an NRL game. So I missed a lot. I did watch the Warriors get their second win of the season against the Cowboys. So I'll ask you your thoughts on that after I quickly run down the scores. Titans, Bulldogs had a 14-all draw. Roosters defeated the Tigers 34-4. Broncos defeated Sharks 28-14. Warriors defeated Cowboys 12-6. Knights defeated Raiders 18-0. And then the Eels defeated the Dragons 12-10. So your thoughts on the Warriors game?
I was very pleased with the improvement we showed on defense. I don't know how much of it we attribute to the conditions, but I thought we played them probably a little bit better. And we were talking before coming on about Lauatiti on debut.
Yeah.
Thought she was awesome and loved the aggression and defense and the barnstorming try. But yeah, I was just pleased for the girls to get their second win of the year. I think it was a pretty good performance.
Yeah, and that's the women's ladder, is it, Paul?
Correct. That's the women's ladder put up.
Yeah. So yeah, where the Warriors are currently 10th out of 12. But it's a learning process this year. A lot of them are part-timers, never played before, just learning, and it showed good steps. Jacko said he really enjoyed the girls' game. A few too many errors, but it was wet. Once we stopped trying to go wide and smash them up the middle, it was great. Yeah, and there was some big contact, and yeah, they just really bullied them up the middle. Someone also asked, did I see Millie on TV, or do I not get Channel 1 coverage? No, I had no Millie. I just have to sit there and watch highlights on YouTube. But yeah, no Millie for me. And then yeah, Jagger said, well, he needs a building a pack to be fed in future. There's a lot of good players in that team that with a bit of experience, they'll be a premiership contender for sure. But yeah, so like I always forget her name. Stacey's niece. Albert 13. I can't remember her first. Albert Jones. Yeah. She's really good too.
Yeah.
She's big and physical, but she's also got the silky hands. So yeah, there's a lot of good players there, and yeah, Lautiti was fantastic. Basically, first touch of the ball, she ran over for a try, and then that massive hit on the other try line when the Cowboys were trying to get out of trouble.
The look on her face too. The one that got smacked.
And and Jacko said Malipo, a future star. Yeah, she's really taken to league really well. I know we talked about Marky Mark, but I think it's one thing being a union player and then going and playing an outside back, as opposed to being a sevens player and going in and being a half. I can't speak of that on prop, so I don't know how different it is, but I feel like it's a different beast going in there and being the kicker, especially when you're playing predominantly sevens, where there's not really a lot of tactical kicking.
She's the main one on the ball for us too. Like whenever it comes to a lot of the playmaking and kicking, it's mostly her. So she's coming along really well.
Yeah. So then this week we've got the Dragons playing the Sharks, so 9 versus 8. Then we've got the 3rd place Knights playing the 11th place Tigers. Then we've got the double header in Sydney, mate. The 6th place Bulldogs playing the 10th place Warriors. They're both new teams in the comp. So be a good clash there. Then Sunday, we've got the 7th place Titans playing the 1st place Roosters, 12th place Raiders playing the 2nd place Broncos, and then ending the round 5th place Eels versus 4th place Cowboys. So some good clashes in there. Still the best NRL team in the Raiders and the worst NRLW team in the Raiders. It's still a weird mix. But we'll go into round 22, mate. Kicking off with the Storm defeating the Eels 16-10 on Thursday.
It was 3-2 for the Storm. It was Ali Katoa, Tui Kamikamita, and Xavier Coates. For the Eels, the Fox, Josh Adokar, and Charlie Geimer. Yeah,
closer match than I and the Storm expected. And the attack looked a bit clunky without Hughes at the helm, but they reduced their errors, executed in the clutch moments, and shut down some of the Eels' potential game-turning breaks. Not their best performance by any stretch, but as the only top 4 side that actually won this week, they've strengthened their final spot, which is nothing to scoff at. Your thoughts on the Storm?
Just another week, another win. Not an A+ from them for performance, but they did dominate majority of the stats, and you only need to look to last week. The Eels proved that they can be a pain for the top teams at this time of year. The Storm will bank the result. Be happy to take away the 2.
Definitely. And your thoughts on the Eels?
Yeah, not a bad effort from them to push the Storm all the way. Probably just lacking a little bit of accuracy to get the result. I think they completed at only 68%. Can't lack their effort, but probably just not as polished as the Storm. Otherwise, they weren't too bad.
Hasn't been a great season for the Eels, but they can't be accused of not having to dig. They kept the Storm honest all night, but just let themselves down with some poor errors and a bad night at the kicking tee for Lomax. Disappointing result for them, but Riles has got them heading in the right direction. I think their rebuild's happening a lot quicker than I anticipated. So, tough year, but you can see the positives coming through a little bit. And Stefano Utokumanu, top fantasy was 73. Who'd you go with?
I went Munster, actually. I thought he went well. I think without Hughes, some of these other spine players are going to definitely be taking turns stepping up to keep banking results while Hughes is away. Yeah,
I went with Munster too. Jacko actually made a good shout out saying Harry Grant suddenly found top gear. He could have got the spot here too. But I think Cam Munster, he was really trying his best to fill the role he plays and Hughes. I think as long as he's in this right mindset, they're going to always be a hard team to face. We'll pull the band-aid off, mate. First game on Friday. The Dolphins defeat the Warriors 20-18.
Yep, 4-3. For the Finns, Herbie Farnworth, Jeremy Marshall-King, Oren Kearley, and Jermaine Isako with the heartbreaker. For the Waz, Dallin somewhat answering some of his critics. He had a double. We'll give him that. And Leka with another try. That was all the try scores. Yep. Go on, Brad.
Well, yeah, the Dolphins, they look set to put on a cricket score with Herbie Farnworth tearing the Warriors to shreds, but his early exit saw the game even out. The Dolphins were set up nicely by halftime, but errors and discipline left the door open for the Warriors. But to their credit, the Dolphins dug deep and refused to quit, leading to that buzzer beater in the dying stages for a great win for them. Not a great win to watch. Getting them one step closer to that maiden finals appearance. And before I pass off to you, Bjorn, as I said, looking at the games this weekend, we might be in 6th or 7th after this weekend.
Oh.
That, unfortunately, could be a possibility. We'll talk about it when we get to the ladder. But your thoughts on the Dolphins?
Yeah, like you, Brad, I thought they looked extremely dangerous early, especially Herbie. He seemed to be breaking the line at will, the last of which, the rugby league gods must have been smiling down on us. It looked like it was going to be a certain try, and Herbie got taken out by the sniper, which is not good for the Dolphins. He's such a big part of the Dolphins, and whether or not that hurts their finals run, it could. But credit to the Dolphins, it did disrupt them, but they didn't give up, and then they found a way. they found a way to find an overlap in the corner in the last minute to seal it. So credit to them. It happens. We did it to Newcastle a few weeks ago, and it feels great when you're on the good side of it, and not so good when it's this way around.
And also with a player off at the time, so down a man, and still managing to close it out.
We were down too because Leka was having a sleep. So it was 12-12. He was just lying on the ground with cramp. Before I ask you about the Warriors, Bjorn actually has asked us a question, which we may as well answer now. What do you guys think about not taking the 2 points late in the game? Personally, I thought it was the right call, but in hindsight, maybe we should have gone for 2. I was there. I was screaming for them to take the 2. I understand Webster's defense of it, saying we put the pressure on. Maybe we score a try. If not, we make them fight off their line, as opposed to taking the 2, then getting the ball back in our own area. But I'm always for taking the points on offer. As you'll know, back in the old days, playing you in the Rugby League Live, and that I would always take a field goal if I'm not getting through, because I get 1 point, but I get the ball back. So in my personal opinion, possession is vital. So the more time you can hold on to the ball, the better. But that is also hindsight coming in, because they didn't win. Say they elected to not take the 2 and they scored a try there, then we're never even discussing it. But for me, I get it, but I would have taken the 2. But what about you, mate?
You kind of, cooked if you either way, if you, like you say, we could have scored a try and sealed the game that way. But I'm happy enough. I don't know where the call came from, whether it came from Webby or it was Capewell.
It came from Webby.
It did come from Webby, yeah. So I'm happy enough we had the guts to make a call, and then him defend it afterwards with some logic in the presser. That's fine. We move on. That's
as Jago said, a 50-50 call on hindsight, but no point crying over spilt milk. They had more than enough chance to hold on to that lead without that anyway. So, but it is what it is. So, your thoughts on the Warriors now?
I thought actually we did a pretty good job given the makeshift nature of our lineup and the injury toll and late pull-outs. It was tough going against a good good attacking team. I think if they're not the best attacking team in the comp, they're definitely right up there. We struggled early with Herbie, and we always struggle with Herbie, so I expected that. But we fought tooth and nail and finally landed the lead with 20 to go. And for most of that 20, we defended it pretty well. Perhaps we could have closed the game out a little better than we did. Maybe had choices been different. I don't know. Like we say, it's all hindsight. But yeah, in the wash up, it's a heartbreaker of a loss.
And Paul,
yeah, I was going to put on some stats here. That the to me, look, it's a lot of the attacking stats are on the Warriors' side. All run meters, post contact meters, that kind of stuff. But line breaks seems a pretty key one here. 3 for the Warriors, 9 for the Dolphins. I did put up the stat earlier that Herbie got 3 line breaks in the 18 minutes he did play. Whereas actually, when you look at missed tackles and ineffective tackles, that's all pretty even, really. Just seems that those line breaks need to be key, even though the Warriors got 2 intercepts to none by the Dolphins.
Heartbreaking loss for the Warriors. They were under pump early, but fought their way back into the contest despite having some key figures out. It was a weird one. I was very disappointed in this game, but very impressed with how well they played. They played a lot better than I thought they would with all the outs they had. Look, they had the win in the bag, as we've already talked about, but they looked real gassed at the end, like out on their feet, like real tired, getting cramp and stuff, and they just didn't react fast enough when the Dolphins were on the last tackle with time running out. I was yelling from my little seatmate when I can't remember the name of the Dolphin on last tackle, where he just stood there for about 3 seconds holding onto the ball before they flicked it all the way to the right. Plenty of time, but I think it was that fear, and I think it was Dallin. If you rush out and he quickly passes and then someone runs into that hole you were just standing in, everyone would be ripping Dallin again, going, if he didn't rush out, we would have won this game. So I get it. It's just another banana skin game that they've let slip and puts massive pressure on them to remain in the top 4. And they need to start winning games and winning them in bunches now.
Picking up on your gas thing, it looks like there wasn't much trust in the bench. Jacob Laban got only 17 minutes, Freddie Lussac 19, Tanistan Smith 29.
Jacob did break his leg though, Paul.
Oh, okay, sorry, that's true. 24 minutes to over. Whereas you look at the Dolphins, now admittedly, you replace Orbucks Tua, got 82 because of the replacing Herbie, but still, Ray Stone 41 minutes, Mark Nicholas 25, Josh Kerr 22. There's usually much more use there, much more trust in the bench there by the Dolphins than the Warriors.
Yeah, I know they gave Eddie limited minutes because it was his debut, but he got more minutes than I expected. And then Freddie was there to be a replacement hooker for a hooker that could basically play 80 anyway. But they did have I think they had one more interchange up their sleeve that they didn't use, which potentially you could have thrown Eddie out there again. I assume Jacob would have come back out if he hadn't have got injured. So, you live and learn. I was really impressed with Eddie though in his debut. Thought he looked really good, and Jacob was a beast out there until he got hurt. Do you have the fantasy leader for this game? I think Kurt Donahue top fantasy with 66. Who'd you pick? I think we picked the same guy, and I think it's the first time on the show.
Funnily enough, went with Herbie, and he only played bugger all minutes,
18 minutes.
But just was so influential in the time that he was on, and then when he went off, it just felt like a very influential moment of the match, where it kind of saw the momentum.
Yeah, as a first time on the show, a guy that played 18 minutes in a game, we pick as the player. He was, it was horrible. It was great to watch. Horrible at the same time as a Warriors fan. He was just anything he wanted to do, he could do it. Yeah, and very disappointing. I was very happy to see him get injured as a Warriors fan, but very disappointed for him as well. He had a lot of respect from the crowd when he was taken off the field. There wasn't anyone like laughing or anything. So a lot of respect shown his way. But yeah, it was a huge sigh of relief when I saw him pull up, going, we might actually have a chance of winning this now. So yeah, he was that influential in it. And as Jacko said, ran over 100 meters in 18 minutes. Yeah, 3 line breaks, 100 meters, a try. If he hadn't pulled up that hammy, it would have been another try. Or very worse, a try assist.
Beyond saying it screwed up his fantasy points, but look, he got more points and these players played 4 times as long.
He almost got 50, I think.
He got 45 points, right?
Yeah.
Jermaine Sissoko, 37. Max Feige, 36. Cody Nikamura, 34. All these guys played in the back line, all played way more minutes, all with way less points.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so going on the next game on Friday, the Broncos beating the Rabbits 60-14.
Oh, skip it. 10 tries to 3.
Yep.
For the Broncos, Ezra Mam had 2. Jack Gawinski had 1. Tony Staggs had 2. Selwyn Cobbo, Dean Mariner, Ben Tolte. Dean Mariner had a 2nd. Reece Walsh had 1 at the end. Okay. Rabbitohs, Bailey Bentley Hape, Tallis Duncan, and Lachlan Hubner.
Yeah. I felt like the Broncos were the only top side that made easy work of their underdog counterparts this week. Strong all over the park, and they made easy work of the struggling Rabbit defense. Had a high error count, but that can be expected when the game was all but over and they were just trying things, to be honest. Seriously chasing the Panthers for a top 4 spot, but the asterisk in all of this is the Rabbits were basically a New South Wales Cup side. But we've seen teams face that before and either get upset or like get taken into a real struggle. So credit to the Broncos for dominating like they should have. Your thoughts on the Broncos?
Yeah, not a lot to add. Just it was one-way traffic. It was a good bounce back from the surprise loss last week. Their attack's starting to look more and more dangerous the deeper the season goes. But yeah, obviously for context, it was against the last place team who are, I think, so severely depleted. I don't even think they couldn't even name a full 18-man team on game day, could they? I think it was...
They could only name 17. Yeah.
So that kind of says it all.
And yeah, your thoughts on the
close in the first half.
They did 18-8 isn't that bad, but they just let them go. Your thoughts on the Rabbits?
Yeah, they did try hard in that first half, but I do feel for them. You can't really expect much of them results-wise when they've just been hit so hard with injuries, and all key players too. All the key players are pretty much gone, and to the point where they can't name a full team on game day. It was a tough night for them, but it's just been one of those years.
Yeah, not much to say about the Rabbits here. They're just missing so much talent right now, and they never really had a chance. As Paul said, they did, try to combat them in the first half. Got the 2 tries towards the end of the half to keep them in it, but as I think Jacko said, they ran out of juice, and they're just going to keep limping along until the season's over. It looks like Latrell potentially might be back for them this week, which could help, but I think they're all just waiting for it to end. It's weird to see the Bennett curse follow him instead of staying with his former club.
True.
Katoni Staggs top fantasy with 82. Who'd you go with?
Yeah, I went Ezra. I just was feeling dangerous.
You can't do that, mate. No, he played well. I went with Katoni Staggs. Got the double. I think he led the Broncos with line breaks as well. He's just seemed to have found a nice bit of form. And when he's in that mood, he's one of the most dangerous attacking players in the NRL when he's in that right frame of mind. So
he's a grumpy man.
He is. So we'll go on to the first game on Saturday, mate. The game we were all watching, getting excited almost. Panthers defeating the Titans 30-26.
Yeah, 5 tries apiece for the Panthers. Tom Jenkins, Dylan Edwards, Blaze Talangi had 2. He had the golden point one as well, and Casey McLean. For the Titans, Brian Kelly, Jaden Campbell, Sam Verrills, and 2 for Philip Sami. Probably should have been 3, but it was 2. We had a 2-point field goal from Nathan Cleary in the 78th minute. It sums up the scoring. Brad, what you make of it all?
Panthers dodged a massive bullet here. I'm not sure if they simply took the Titans too lightly, or if it was the fact that Isaiah Yeo didn't come out for the second half. But after that convincing first half, they took their foot off the pedal and it almost cost them. The Titans chased them down and they started to lose their cool a little bit and gave away some silly penalties. Did keep calm, though, when the Titans took the lead. And then Cleary was clutch again. They're running, almost running too far away for, I can't remember his name. The hooker to pass the ball to him. He almost couldn't get it to him because he went that far back. Was it Mitch Kenny?
Yeah.
So it's a forced golden point with that massive 2-pointer before breaking Titans and Warriors fans' hearts with the match winner minutes later going to Blaze Talangi. So it seemed almost certain to end the regular season in the top 4. Your thoughts on the Panthers?
I thought it was a very good effort to pull the game out of the fire. As you said, it was very calm. They were very calm once they got to that point, and so they should be there. Been there, done that. But yeah, they pulled it out of the fire when they almost lost an unlosable halftime lead. They were ruthless in the first half, then pretty much fell under an avalanche of Titans tries in the second, and it took their main man to force golden point with it cracking 2-point shots. Not the first time we've seen him do that. He's very good at it, and then they score a magic long range try to seal it in golden point. Casey McLean making the break, feeding Blaze Talangi, a couple of young guns coming through there. Yeah, I don't know what happened for most of that second half, but you can see the trajectory they're on, Brad?
Yeah. It's disappointing. Your thoughts on the Titans?
Nearly a massive comeback. I'm sure the Titans had the fans of all the other top 4 clubs cheering them on. But yeah, very unlucky for them here. We already spoke about, we briefly touched about it, the Philip Sami possible penalty try. We're both in agreement, penalty try. So a couple little things go their way, then the Titans are walking away winners here, and would have been a cracking win after being 24-0 down, but yeah, unfortunately didn't go that way.
Yeah, not the best first half from the Titans by any stretch, but an amazing comeback attempt. Defense still has plenty of work to do, but their ability to pile on points quickly almost got them the upset here. Took a Cleary super play to steal the win back. They just need to play for 80 and tighten that D, and they'll be a tough team for anyone to face. And Bjorn said, yeah, you must have loved the work by the trainer, True Dark Arts. Yeah, I don't like it because I needed the Panthers to lose here to help the Warriors out. But in terms of dirty play, the Panthers are one of the best at it.
I mean, on 360, they showed that one of the other trainers for the Panthers in a blue
broke
jersey,
the rules as well.
Broke the rules as well. Yeah, I mean, he's basically telling the players where to play. I mean, it's coaching on the pitch. Those guys shouldn't be on the pitch at all. Just let the players do the play. Yeah. And the coaches get off the pitch. Your work's done Monday to Sunday to Saturday, or Sunday to Friday kind of thing. You're not. Your work's not done on the weekend.
Yeah, you're not allowed. I think the rules are you're not allowed. Yeah, and he was out there for the whole set in Golden Point. But yeah, you're never going to get the trainers away, unfortunately. But we've had, remember that, was it the grand final with the Roosters where the trainer got in the way and hit the ball? or something, and it was something like that. But yeah,
It's simple. Trainers are only allowed on the pitch and stoppages of play.
we don't even need trainers. Don't even need coaches. Just let them go out there and play. Tell the props to tell everyone what to do. Yeah, Jacko said trainer told Cleary to go back to 40 meter and kick. Then commented to say how clear he was. Yeah, I was really hoping he would shank it, but it was a great moment from him. Jaden Campbell topped fantasy with 103. Isaiah Papali'i topped for Panthers with 76. Who'd you go with?
In hindsight, I should have gone with Jaden Campbell, but I went with Cleary because, he don't play, they don't win.
Yeah, Cleary, I would have gone with Campbell if Titans had got this. But yeah, I went with Cleary too. The clutch field goal kind of sealed it. I think I was saying to you and Ruin Hammer, or it was someone I was saying to, say it's amazing what he can do when he's not wearing a New South Wales jersey. He can do it all.
True.
Puts that baby blue shirt on and he can't do any of that. But
pink.
Well-deserved win by the Panthers, unfortunately. Makes our job a lot harder than holding our spot. We'll go to the next game, mate. The Dragons upsetting the Raiders 18-12.
Upset indeed. Was 2 tries apiece for the Dragons. Matthew Feagai and Corey Allen. For the Raiders, a double to Matt Timoko was all goal kicking. Kyle Flanagan brought his kicking boots. 2 conversions from 2. 3 penalty goals from 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a real tight tussle, but a well-deserved win for the Dragons, which hurts me so much to say. They did all the little things right, asked questions of the Raiders' defense and got under the Raiders' skin and use it to their advantage for an important win for the season. A finals push is still possible if things go their way, but this win keeps them away from the wooden spoon. So they may not hit finals, but at least they're going to avoid that spoon like I predicted they'd get. I don't like them, but it was thoroughly well played by them, so can't critique them at all. Your thoughts on the Dragons?
Yeah, great upset result for them. I think they handled the conditions a little better. The game wound up being an arm wrestle. I would normally back the Raiders in that situation to edge it out, but funnily enough, a guy that's got a lot of talk this year, Kyle Flanagan, he was able to seal the deal with some goal kicking. So great upset win.
Whilst it might be the kicks that put the points on the table, it's about managing. This was about managing the ball, wasn't it? Possession 56% compared to 44% by the Raiders. A completion set of 83% compared to only 64% completion by the Raiders. That's very low. And it was just managing the ball. Yeah.
And all the criticism Kyle Flanagan gets, mate, he's never been criticised for being a bad goal kicker. It's just everything else. It's not American football, mate. You don't have a designated goal kicker. You need to be able to play the actual game too. But no, he played really well. But your thoughts on the Raiders?
I've been thinking that they've been due for a down week at some point, and that they just couldn't find the spark in this one. In so many games recently, they've found a way, even if they haven't been going well earlier on. Then they've run away with it in the second, but they just couldn't find that in this one. Discipline wasn't the greatest. Almost like a lot of them were playing frustrated the longer the game went on, and handing the Dragons 6 points from penalty goals. So in a tight game like that, wound up being the difference. So I guess it's a good time for a wake-up call, though, that it happens now rather than in a few weeks.
Yeah, disappointing performance from the Raiders here. Just too many errors and inability to string attacking sets together, like Paul said with the stats. They were in the contest from start to finish, but with time running out, they were visibly losing their cool. Tapani was one, almost getting into fights every play the ball. And they need to get back to what's been working all year. As you just said, it's going to be a wake-up call that they need just before finals. You don't want this type of loss. There's always a loss like this sitting in your back pocket that's going to come out. So you'd rather here than like round 1 or round 2 of the finals. So get it out and get back on track. Joseph Tapani top fantasy was 65, and Damien Cook top for the Dragons with 59. Who'd you go with?
I went a random route. I actually went DeBellin. I thought he was, right in the mixer there against one of the best packs, and they needed some leaders like that to sort of step up in the battle to wind up with the result. So, I thought they did a good job. He did a good job.
This broke a 9-game winning streak for the Raiders.
Yeah. I went with Damien Cook. I think he's really been good for them, and it was another solid performance. He's making Flanagan look competent, so it's got to be a bonus for him. Next game on Saturday, we got the Roosters defeating Manly 20-4. This was the game that I was not sure about in the tips last week. Got this one right though, so
nice. 3 tries to 1 in this one for the Roosters. Billy Smith, Angus Crichton, and Egan Butcher. For Manly, Tolu Kola.
Yeah, dominant display from the Roosters here. I picked them to win. I didn't expect them to win by this much. Lots of errors from them, which could be expected in the weather they're playing in. That weather was atrocious. But put together some nice attacking plays and just pressured the Sea Eagles and refused to let them build any momentum. Solid win in trying conditions. Some real exciting looking play as well in the wet conditions. There was that, I can't remember, it was Crichton's try where Sam Walker did the crossfield kick and the slide.
Yeah.
Creepo did the slide to catch it and then the offload. All while you couldn't see because of the rain. But solid effort from them. Your thoughts on the Roosters?
Yeah, it was a comfortable win at the right time of year too. Like you said, tough conditions. I think the Roosters made more of their chances in those conditions to pick up a timely away win against the team they're battling against for similar spots on the table. So, I mean, it's a big result in the context of the playoff battles.
Hearing that it was wet rugby or wet footy, you got to looking at the stats, you can tell the side that won this one, right? The Roosters most run meters, most post contact meters, most tackle breaks, etc. Come to the passing, most offloads by the Sea Eagles, most receipts, total passes by the Sea Eagles, most dummy passes by the Sea Eagles. You're playing in the rain and you're topping the passing. They were clever rugby clever footy by the Roosters and not by the Eagles by the sounds of things.
Yeah, and whether you can't play catch up footy in the way that you want to, unfortunately. But your thoughts on the Sea Eagles, mate?
Yeah, obviously just not in this one. And then one thing you can criticize Manly for this year, it's their lack of consistency. Looks like that's probably going to continue for the remainder of the year. They just, the ball hit the nail on the head. I just thought they didn't use the ball as well as the Roosters did in the conditions. Probably tried to use it a little bit too much, and that's what you get. But they're a tipper's nightmare. So probably, I don't know. Do you back them in for the 8? They're or thereabouts, but they're just hot one week, cold the next. It's just too hard to. I think if they make it, they'll be gone pretty smartly.
Yeah, I think so. They just really struggled to get a foothold in this match, as you and Paul both said. It was poor discipline. They had really got them on the back foot, and the weather, as you said, it wasn't good for a comeback attempt. You can't try second phase footy when you can't see 5 foot in front of you because of the rain. They'll be looking for a big bounce back this week. That's all I can really say. Who was our fantasy leaders, Paul? You can see, look, he's too busy making a cup of tea in the background. Honestly,
good question. Oh, no, it's not a cup of tea. If Old Man Outside would like to sponsor us, then more than happy to have some of their scrumpy and berry. Definitely enjoying that tipple. Connor Watson was I had it saved as well. There it is.
Honestly,
Connor Watson, top fantasy with 62.
Who'd you go with, Richie?
Sam Walker, just
Of course,
perfect goal kicking. I think that they look a lot better with him there. They've missed him for a good most part of the season.
Yeah, I went with Connor Watson because I just wanted to go with fantasy at least once this week. So I thought Watson's really been playing well. But yeah, Sam Walker, they're definitely a better side with them there. We'll see how it goes when he gets moved. I think the rumors I heard was they're going to move DCE and make DCE a 6 and keep Sam Walker at 7. But we'll see how long that lasts. But first game on Sunday, probably my game of the round, to be fair. West Tigers defeating the Bulldogs 28-14.
Yeah. 5-3 for the Tigers. Jarrell Skelton had 2. Jareen Buller, Adam Dewey, and Samuela Fainu. For the Doggies, Jacob Preston, Jacob Kuraz, and Josh Curran.
Hell of a display from the Tigers here, mate. Plenty of talk leading up to kick off about Galvin versus Tigers. You know, that's all the media want to talk about. And you could see right from the start the Tigers were fired up and simply refused to quit. There's no way in hell they're letting Galvin beat them in his first appearance against them. Adam Dewey was electric in his move to the halves, and the pack bullied the Doggies all night, and the backs just turned pressure into points. Well-deserved win and potentially their highlight for the year.
Yeah, I felt like they had a huge first half. It set up the result for the Tigers, racing to 20-0 before conceding right on halftime. But they never relinquished the lead throughout the game. Played with a lot of passion, maybe a bit of the Galvin spice was fueling that. Maybe they were playing with a little bit too much passion, if you ask some of the Doggies fans. But yeah, in the end, it was a pretty comprehensive win, which as Warriors fans, I'm not disappointed. Again, it keeps the top 4 race spicy, but yeah, I don't know. It's got me nervous about this week because I think the Doggies will be angry.
Yeah, it makes the clash this week a lot more important now that both teams lost. But yeah, your thoughts on the Doggies?
They were just ambushed in that first half and it left them with too much to do. They looked like they were missing their steady hand, Connor Tracy, who's been just like a rock for them, and reshuffling Kuraz to the back. It's fine, but you know I think they definitely were missing something there. They tried hard all night, but just not their night.
Yeah, the Bulldogs' rain curse continued. They looked like they took the Tigers way too lightly, and once they got stuck in catch-up mode, they just started to flounder, just making mistakes on top of mistakes and never looked a chance to win. Terrible timing for us, as they'll be looking to make an example of the Warriors this week. And the scoreline flatters them really when you think Josh Curran scored a try with like 2 minutes to go to make the score look a little bit better. But yeah, just not their night, the Bulldogs. I think it was just, maybe a bit too laxed, which I think will punish us this week.
You're talking about a mixed up game, a mixed up team there for the Bulldogs. But looking at the Tigers lineup, didn't they also have a late change and therefore Adam Donoghue, he's only 13, but he's playing halfback. So didn't they also have a bit of both sides, I think, had sort of late changes?
Yeah, it was a masterstroke putting Dewey in the halves, though. It's crazy how he can play well in almost every position.
He showed some speed on that runaway try too. I was just, when he got it, I was yelling at him, throw it to your wing a bit. Then he just backed himself and kept going.
Yeah, and yeah, Jagger said Dewey was unbelievable, great game. And Bjorn also, I've been checking it every day. 15 to 20 mil of rain expected next weekend. We can only hope. Yeah, it's meant to be raining. It's meant to be raining in Sydney on Saturday, and the Bulldogs don't like playing in the rain. So hopefully that
love a lottery. Us. Yeah.
Adam Dewey did top fantasy with a big 82. Who'd you go with?
Yep, went with him. Thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, I thought so too. Got a nice try. Was pretty good at the boot and was just everywhere. Really involved. fantastic. And I know there's a lot of rumors that he potentially might not be at the Tigers next year. They have apparently extended. They offered him a small deal to stay. They've upped it, so they really want him to stay. But even if he's got one foot out the door, at least you can't accuse him of going half-assed. He really wants to try to help the team out. So, yeah, fantastic display from them. And then we'll go to the last game, which wasn't really that exciting, mate. But Sharks defeated the Cowboys 32-12.
Yeah, 5 tries to 2 in this one for the Sharkies. Braden Trindle, Adam Fanua-Blake, Ronaldo Mulitalo had 2, and Cam McInnes. For the Cowboys, Griffin Neen and Braden Burns.
Poor Griffin Neen, mate. He just needs to come home. I feel for him, though, but dying in North Queensland. Another messy game in the rain, and while Sharks left points on the table, they got more than enough in a strong first half to keep control, kept their discipline in check, and just got the job done. Slowly getting into the groove and looked to be wanting to be taken seriously as a finals contender. So it's another one of those games they could have let this slip. They were heavily favoured, but just did what they have to do. Can't critique them that much. And Paul said Sharks 3 penalties to the Cowboys 7. Your thoughts on the Sharks?
Yeah, they got the job done here without much fuss. Big first half, which pretty much buried the game. And although they didn't keep the foot on the throat in the second, very comfortable win at an important time of the year. So, yeah, happy days for the Sharks.
Yeah, and your thoughts on the Cowboys?
More of what we say every week, Brad. Yeah, another week, another poor defensive game, and an inability to play 80 minutes. I think big questions will be asked of this club, Brad, in this offseason. Do you reckon? I think Toddy might be starting to feel some pressure.
Yeah, I think so. It was, another poor display from them. After a string of good efforts from the Cowboys, the last few rounds, you could say their performances had improved a bit. The last-minute try made the result look a bit better, but they just couldn't keep up, or they couldn't keep on the good side of the referee, as we've already talked about the penalty count. Another side waiting for 2025 to be over, but more losses like this will send Peyton packing. I know there's a lot of noise that Josh Hanna could end up being their coach in 2026, the way things are going. So time will tell. Your Cameron McInnes was top fantasy with 65. Who was your pick?
Mulitalo.
Yeah, I went with Mulitalo too. Got a double.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. Just dangerous when he's in that right frame of mind. So that was the round. So we'll go to round the ladder, mate. You can go top 8, mate. I can't remember who did it last week.
Me neither, but I'll do it. Raiders first, Storm second, Bulldogs third, Warriors fourth. That top four's mostly the same. Panthers fifth, Broncos sixth, Sharks seventh, Dolphins in eighth. Yours, Brad.
Yeah, then we got the Roosters moved up to 9th, Manly moved down to 10th, Dragons moved up to 11th, Tigers up to 12th, Cowboys down to 13th, Knights went up to 14, then Eels went down to 15, Titans remain at 16, Rabbits remain at 17. So as Bjorn said, Sharks are smoky for top 4 now. Yeah, you look at the Sharks in 7th, Broncos in 6th, Panthers 5th. Depending on how the ladder goes, they could all move up. I think Sharks with their run, I think the Broncos and the Storm have to play each other twice still. So there's a chance the Sharks, if they stay slow and steady, they might take over the Broncos if the Broncos can't get the upper hand over the Storm. The
Broncos have got the Storm this week away, and then they have them home in round 27, so the last game before the finals. If the Storm are already home at that point, they might be resting players, who knows, on that one. The reminder that the Raiders have still got a bye, as do the Sharks, actually, before the end.
The fact the Sharks have a bye helps them potentially end up in the top 4 as well, as long as they don't start losing the rest of their rounds. But yeah, having that bye up your sleeve when you're this close is really good. It would have been great for us last year when we had the bye in the last round if we were in contention, but it didn't matter for us.
So which team is on the second? Oh, wait, which team is on the longest and the second longest winning streaks at the moment?
Panthers are on the longest, aren't they?
Yeah, so the Panthers are on the longest now with 8. It was the Raiders until
the Raiders
last week. Yeah, but it's now the Panthers with 8. Yep.
And then what? There's another one.
So the Sharks
Storm.
So the Sharks are on 4 wins. On 4 wins
in a row
on the bounce. So yeah, so they're in good form coming up here. And they got the Dragons, Titans, Newcastle, and then the Cowboys. So
they should win all of those. So yeah, they could definitely end up top 4, which is unfortunate for that team sitting in 4th place right now.
That might change my answer in the questions.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it till just now. So we move on.
Because that's what. So looking at this, the top 3, with the 2-game gap between the Bulldogs and the Warriors, I think with 5 rounds to go, it's unlikely to see the top. I think the top 3 are safe in the top 4, aren't they? Pretty much without them actually sort of totally capitulating. The Bulldogs
do have a tough run though. If they lose to us this week, that is.
So the Bulldogs got the Warriors, the Roosters, the Storm, the Panthers, and the Sharks. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, that's a very bad run. Yeah.
So they, even though they're 4 points ahead, if they lose to us and then they have to start playing those other teams, they could slip potentially. But if they beat us and get to 36 and have that 6-point gap between 3rd and 4th, then they've got a bit of leeway. It all comes down to how they go this week.
Panthers have a tough run home too.
Yeah. So it all depends.
Storm, Raiders and Dogs. Yeah. Panthers have Storm, Raiders and Dogs consecutively.
Sure, with the Knights and the Dragons either side of that.
Yeah, and Bjorn said Sharks are paying $3 over here for top 4, bet irresponsibly. I actually put money on the Panthers to make top 4 because they are still paying like $2.80 over here. But I didn't. I should look at the Sharks actually. I might look at that at the end of the show when we're finished. But we'll go to fantasy now. The
Panthers are still at 240 to make the top 4, but funnily enough, 225 to make the grand final. So they're more likely to make the grand final than to make the top 4. So on that one.
What about the Sharks?
Looking at the Sharks, they are $2.75 to make the top 4, $8.50 to make the grand final.
I don't think they'd make the grand final, but top 4 could be a good shout.
And they've stopped taking bets for the Raiders, I think, to make the top 4.
I've got my money. I put my money ages ago on them to win the minor premiership, so I think they're going to get that with a buy up their sleeve. So, move to fantasy now. Stop talking to us about the ladder pool. You're distracting us.
We're running a bit short. Just move on from this.
You got 631, mate. Not a great week for you, and not a great week for me either. 781. Staffatoa late scratching screwed me, and then Isaiah Yo only playing 1 half didn't help me either. And some low scores, disappointed. But it is what it is. It's almost over, mate. Fantasy's almost over. But we got some better news coming into the ladder, mate. All these people giving us crap on the show about us being down the bottom of the ladder. Look where we are now. So your boy had a shocking week, mate. He only got 4. But he's still a hippo.
I saw his tips and I get why. And he was tipping Raiders and teams like that. So
I think he picked the Warriors too.
Yeah, he said he always tips them, so that's just silly on his behalf.
So he's still ahead by 1. ACT Hellcat is second on 117, tied with you on 3rd with 117.
Yeah, I was going to say this. Robbie's comment about, you said you can't make the top 8 in fantasy, Richie. He's 3rd. So
This is tipping, not fantasy, though.
Yeah.
oh,
different.
true.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm
He's a better tipper. Yeah. But yeah, then the Urk is fourth. Then I'm fifth, mate. I got up to the fifth. Harry
Nice.
Poppins sixth. MB Sports Fan seventh. Bjorn cuts out our eight. Then the boy from SMB 9, Roscoe 10. We actually got, you'll notice, we actually got extra people. We had 2 new people join our comp during the week. It counts all their previous scores, so it doesn't affect them too much. But Roscoe is 10th, one of the newbies. Princess Killy is 11th. The other addition, Evelyn, is 12th. Michael Barzito, 13th. Simon, you're down, we may as well say last, since you're with a guy that's not playing, with a just hammer at the end. But you do have all your jokers, so I'm expecting you
Big
to shoot
finish.
up the ranks. Big finish
Well,
with
so do our 2 new joiners. I mean, this could be we can have a total a massive change just in the last few weeks.
yeah. So yeah, I'm just happy to be back in the top 8 again. That's all I want. So we'll go to questions. I see you did star a couple. I think we've answered some, but okay.
So Brad, there's a new site called Only Props. Who are you swiping right and left with from the props in the NRL at the moment? 3 only. I think it means which one are you subscribing to? So 3 props you subscribe to the Only Props accounts.
If you're meaning, I can answer. I'm going to answer it the 2 ways that you mean. So the first way, I'm assuming you mean who I think have been the top 3 props playing wise. Terrell May is my number 1. I would then go with Terrell May is number 1. Adam, I think, has been playing okay, so I'd put him at 3. Mitch Barnett, I think, would have been number 2 before he got injured. So I'd go with Joseph Tapani, number 2. So Terrell May, Joseph Tapani, Adam as my top 3 for performing wise.
Hang on.
Well, what you mean?
You're
No Payne Haas. No Payne Haas. I thought I had him from.
Mate, Payne Haas, he had the game off last week because he had a skin infection. Soft. He officially is no longer a prop with that type of excuse, mate. A skin infection.
Okay.
Honestly. Boy gets a rash and can't play football. Come on now.
So now, I mean, Bjorn's trying to play like he doesn't know what OnlyFans is, and says, "Oh yeah, it's he says, yeah, I got it wrong. It's swiping with Tinder. Yeah. Like you don't know all these sites like you have, mate."
Yeah, I've been in a relationship far too long to remember how Tinder works. But yeah, you meant it the other way, and if I subscribed, Millie Boyle, Matakino Gray. That's the only 2 I know. Only 2 props I know. But yeah, and I'm sure there's another one. I'll change it up and say Olivia Koenig. She can play prop. Oh no, Kenzie Apps. She plays prop, mate. There you go. That's number 3 in terms of the other way.
And again, Brad's only acting like this because he thinks his girlfriend might be watching. Because let's be honest, if you think he doesn't know who all the female props are in NRLW, then yeah, you're not
We'll
tricking
just-
us, Brad. But
we'll
I
just
guess
go
it's
to-
time for you guys to move on to your own questions to each other.
Yeah, we'll go to Instagram and have a look. So your question to me first, mate.
Yep. So given our injury woes and us looking a bit dicey and dropping a couple of games recently, what would you be content with to finish the year? What would be your marker for success, and what would you view as a failure from here on in?
A few weeks ago, I would have said top 4. Now, I think I'd just be content to finish in the top 8 with how close it is. Before the season started, I didn't think we had a shot in hell of making finals. I thought at best would be 10th. So at the moment, we're well above what I expected. But if they don't start winning games, they potentially could finish 10th. You never know.
No.
So yeah, there we go. We got the I think potentially spoilers for later. I think that the Bulldogs will probably get them. Then I think we get the Dragons. I think we get the Warriors. Think the Titans. Think we get the Eels. Think we get Manly. But Dragons, Titans, and Eels have been playing reasonably well. And Manly, that is DCE's final game in Manly, so I'm expecting them to front for that. So there's a big chance we could lose a lot of those games. So I don't know. Jacko said very content with 6. Home finals game in 2025 has been great, right? 6, yeah, I'd say as long as they get a home final, I think. And Bjorn says, I think we're finishing 7 or 8. Roosters have had a hard draw, as do the Dolphins. Yeah, I think worst case scenario, as long as they make the finals still and get into the finals. But yeah, especially with how well it's crazy to think the team currently sitting in 4, we're sitting here worried about even making the finals.
This is look, Brad. This isn't therapy, as I should be finding that slide. You've really gone down a rabbit hole of depression here. Look, this is not a good way to be. I think we need some mental health strategies for you for not to look to go from being. I think we're okay for 4. Yeah, 6 is good. I hope we make the 8. I mean, that was a very quick spiral.
It's true. We could lose all those games. Dragons have been a bogey team for us in the past. The Titans are a bogey team for us now. Manly with that final game for DCE, and then the Eels have been really fighting with tooth and nail. So there are arguments for why they could lose all those games, Paul, and there's arguments for why they could win those games. It's not a therapy session. Let me just say it. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, similar to Jacko. That's a great call. We come in the top 6. I'm pretty content with that. From where we've been, we were traveling well, but hit some turbulence, and that happens in a NRL season. It's a long and grueling season. To be fair, I don't know that any of us in our wildest dreams was expecting the premiership trophy. So if we get a home finals game, I'll be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, and Bjorn said, I'm happy with finals this year. Didn't think we'd be there at the start of the year, but a bit disappointed with how we've been currently traveling. Yeah, I think it's making excuses, which we're Warriors fans, what we do best. I think it's a completely different vision of how we'd be going this year if Mitch Barnett and Luke Metcalf didn't get hurt. You know, if we still had them, and unfortunately the injuries recently, just poor timing. Everyone's falling off the wagon. But yeah, I think as long as they build the confidence on what they did right and work on what they did wrong, they can start 2026 on the right foot. But my question to you, mate, we've kind of already answered it, but the top 4 all got a case of the speed wobbles in the week. Looking forward, what do you think the top 4 will be at the end of the regular season? So we kind of already talked about it.
We kind of already did, and it kind of changed my answer because I was kind of edging towards Panthers edging out that top that 4 spot. But looking at their round home versus the Sharks round home, I'm starting to think that the Sharks win all their remaining games, and the Panthers will probably drop at least one of theirs. So I'm going to say Sharks.
Well, I said top 4, mate. I didn't say who's going to be 4th.
3. Yeah.
There's 3 other teams you got to pick 2, mate.
The top three are obvious.
All right. So you're saying Raiders, Storm, Bulldogs, Sharks?
Correct. There was only one position up for debate.
Okay. So I've got Raiders in 1st, Storm in 2nd, Panthers in 3rd, Sharks 4th.
Yeah.
I think the Doggies and the Warriors fall out with how bad the Doggies run home is.
Oh, you think the Doggies fall out?
As well, yeah.
I don't think the Doggies fall out.
I just wanted to be different from you, mate. So, and I didn't think about the Sharks until we looked at that ladder. So we'll go on to round 23, mate, starting with the Warriors Bulldogs. Late game on Saturday, 9:30 New Zealand time. You want to give us your Warriors team, mate?
Absolutely. Fullback, Taintua Piki. The wingers, DWZ and Roger Tui Vasashek. The centres, Adam Pompey, Chance Nickel-Klugstar. Halves, Chanel Harris-Tavita returns. Tanner Boyd in the halfback jumper. Front row, Maratini Kore, Jackson Ford, Sam Healy hooker. Edge back rows, Leka Halasima, Kurt Capewell, and lock, Aaron Clark. Interchange bench, Tamairi Martin. Eddie Idemir Toyava, Dimitri Waiamonga has been named to return, and Tanner Smith.
Yeah, and James Fisher-Harris named on the extended as well as a potential return. Fingers crossed. I'm actually really happy with the team, with what they've got to pick from. I know I've heard that Chanel might be touch and go, so you could potentially see Tamati and Tanner Boyd in the halves again. And then I assume Freddie Lussick would move into the 14. But yeah, I'm happy enough with that team. I think Eddie did more than enough to keep a spot. I assume he'll be the one that drops out if Fish comes back, though. And yeah, great to see Valmunga back. I think they really missed his physicality, and he'll replace what Jacob Laban did. So yeah, very happy for the Broncos, for the Bulldogs. Jacob Carraz at fullback, Jethro Renakama and Inara Tuwala on the wings, Bronson Sherry and Stephen Crichton in the centres, Matt Bird and Lachlan Galvin in the halves. Lachlan Galvin's got an asterisk. He hurt his hand. There's apparently a broken hand, but if he doesn't play, they'll bring Toby Sexton in for there. Front row, we've got Max King, Sam Hughes, the props, Reed Marnie as the hooker, Kikau and Jacob Preston, second row, and Jermaine Salmon at 13. Interchange, we've got Kurt Mann, Harry Hayes, Josh Curran, and Bailey Hayward. Jacko said, I think we can match their forwards, but Burton may kick us to death, making us work at our redstone repeatedly. Yeah, I think we can do it. I think we can beat them, but I'm picking the Bulldogs because I'm trying to win the picking comp. So I'm picking with my head, not my heart. But it's meant to be wet weather. Bulldogs don't like playing in the rain. Last time we played them over there, we took them to Golden Point. So I think we've got enough. It's just, how we go with the kicking. Tane Tuapiki looks really good out the back, though. Chance was pretty good in the centres. So it's a lot closer than what it would have been if we a few weeks. So last week when I saw the team and I wasn't confident with how the team looked. I actually liked how this team went. Who'd you pick?
Picking doggies. Sorry.
Yeah. It's the one game I don't mind getting wrong in the tips. If I pick against the Warriors, they prove me wrong.
Absolutely.
So, Brady, there you're talking about how close you think that it's pretty relatively close, and you think they can do it. The TAB does not agree with you on that one. The second strongest favourites of the weekend are the Bulldogs at $1.36. The Warriors at $3.10 for this game. So I say, quite
tempted.
A long way out there. Looking at the Warriors on the road, look, 6 wins and 3 losses, and the Bulldogs at home, 7 wins and 2 losses. So look, in both, obviously, in both teams in the top 4, so they've got both got good records there. Actually, the Warriors play better on the road than they do at home. But you're going to tell me that some of those home games were probably Magic Round and in the USA and stupid things like that. But anyway,
we're actually on I can't remember how many winning streak. We're on a huge winning streak in Sydney this season as well. We haven't lost a game in Sydney for a while. And as Bjorn said, TB isn't a hardworking smart prop though. That's true. But the TAB, no. I saw there was some promos of the TAB team trying to go and do a training session with the Warriors, and it looks like they've never been on a rugby or on a footy field in their life. Actually embarrassed me a little bit seeing them do that. They should stick to their calculators. But yeah, and before we there's a question about Perrott suing Manly. We'll say that after the fixtures. We'll end on a positive note about a player suing the team. So first game up, we got you want me to say the home team first, right? Is that how you want me to do the order so you don't rage out? We got the Storm playing the Broncos. I have picked the Storm.
I've very hopefully picked the Storm.
Yes, the Storm favourites here, $1.50 against the Brisbane Broncos at $2.60. obviously the Storm tripping up Storm on a couple of game winning streak. The Brisbane a 1 game winning streak after losing to Parramatta 2 weeks ago.
And then on Friday we have the Knights Panthers. I've gone Panthers.
Me too.
So these are the shortest odds of the weekend. The Panthers at $1.28, the Knights at $3.75. Obviously, the Knights down there in 14th, and still the lowest scoring team of the league with 284 points. The next lowest is still the Titans with 341. So 60 points. That's quite a big difference, really. Panthers obviously on that big winning streak we've been talking about.
Yeah, then final game on Friday, Raiders, Sea Eagles. I've gone with the Raiders.
Yep, Raiders bounce back.
Yeah, Raiders at $1.46, Sea Eagles at $2.75. So, with the Sea Eagles, didn't they just drop out the 8, or the draw just dropped to? So they're not in great form at the moment as well.
Yeah. Then first game on Saturday, Dragons, Sharks. I've gone Sharks.
Sharks.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the Sharks being on a good form. The Dragons at home, $2.75. The Sharks, $1.46 in that one. But the Sharks don't travel well. They've only won 4 and lost 6 on the road. So from that point of view, perhaps a bit of a weak spot for them.
Yeah, then second game on Saturday is Dolphins, Roosters. I've gone with Dolphins. It's probably the toughest game of the round, I think, in terms of picking.
I'm eaching Dolphins because of home ground.
Home, yeah.
So the NRL, there's a TAB disagrees with you. Dolphins at $2. The Roosters favourites at $1.82. Here with this one. So
no Herbie.
That's true.
The Dolphins, obviously no Herbie, and but are on a 2-game winning streak. The Roosters, where are they? I've gone blank down bottom there. Look, they've lost 3 out of their last 5. Look, they've been up and down. So who knows?
And then Bulldogs, Warriors, we've already talked about. We both picked Bulldogs. Sunday, we have Titans, Rabbits. I've gone with the Titans. Didn't think I'd say that in a while, but Rabbits are really the walking wounded.
Titans. And as Beyonce, can you please pronounce the Aboriginal names where they're playing, Brad?
I can't. I don't know how. I don't even know how those letters go together.
So here we have got the Titans second bottom against the Roosters. Rabbits bottom of the league. The Titans are amazingly $1.48. So pretty heavy favourites. $2.65 for the Rabbits. But yeah, for what is two teams that are close to each other on the table, that's quite a big quite a big gap.
And in the final game, we've got the Eels playing the Cowboys in Burramatagal.
Very good.
I've gone Eels.
Me too.
Really? Okay, so the Eels, but both teams not in good form. The Eels obviously below the Cowboys. But you're right, the TAB agrees you at $1.64, the Cowboys at $2.30. So that's quite a big again. For a side that's two lower than the other, that's quite heavy favourites for the Eels, really.
Yeah. So some of the games look easy. Been tricked by that before though. But yeah, before we go, Jacko did want to know about Perrott suing Manly for a few million. So former Manly prop Lloyd Perrott, I was meant to put in the news, didn't. He's launched legal proceedings against the club for alleged outlandish training regimen that ended his promising career. It's like $5 million he wants. The crux of the legal claim is in 2017 summer training sessions that left Perrott unconscious and in hospital after he was allegedly deprived of water and fluids. Carter Kapner law director Peter Carter said Perrott's career have been cut short by the actions of Manly, and they've lodged the claims to the Supreme Court of New South Wales. I don't know my view on it because I think it was around the same time you had that Manly player that died after the preseason training. Remember? I can't remember his name, but he had complications due to lack of water and things like that. And died, so it wasn't ideal. But yeah, apparently he collapsed and he woke up in hospital with severe heat stroke. I don't know. I don't know if 5 million is the money, but
so Perry explained he decided to take action in inverted commas after the result of the inquiry into the death of former Manly star Keith Titmuss was revealed. It's Titmuss, who collapsed during a training session in 2020, likely died after not receiving adequate treatment for an exertion heat stroke.
Yeah, so this was in 2017, so 3 years later that happened. But I don't know. As Bill said, reckon they're just looking for a payout. He won't get 5 mil, but might get a few $100K. Yeah, I don't know my view on it. You kind of know that pre-seasons are pretty brutal. I've never had to do one in Australia though, so I don't know. But pre-season or the last game of the season, I always felt like I was dying anyway. Conditioning wasn't my friend.
No, but okay, there's real conditioning, but I mean, there is zero reason at all to get people to train without water, right? If they want to drink, give them a drink. There is that doesn't improve anything. Training without water. We've just seen that there's trainers all over the pitch giving you water during your game anyway, so it's not like you have to get some used to being dehydrated. Those sort of just seems like some real old school training regimes that have not moved with the times. And with the times, I mean like 20 years ago. Never mind now. This is just nuts.
Yeah, and as Jacko said, he says he has a feeling he may win. I don't know if he'll win 5 mil, but he could. I think, as callous as it may sound, the fact that 3 years later a player died because of the same conditions is probably going to strengthen his case.
So according to Fox Sport, he's actually looking for 4 mil, which is he reckon he would have had a 10-year career after that at 400K a season. So that tells you kind of how the 4 mils come about. And when you say 400K a season for 10 years, it's not as
crazy as it sounds. Yeah,
it sounds.
Yeah. So we'll keep when they actually have a result. We can talk about it then. But I could see a lot of ways where they can win something for him with the arguments due to what's happened. And as Paul just said, the breakdown of the reasons why for the money, it doesn't sound as outlandish. But yeah, we'll see. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm happy.
And Bjorn does say not many players do play 10 years, though. That is true. Props last forever, though. Evergreen. I could put the boots on tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on the 200th episode of the Standoff that we did nothing to celebrate. For your weekly update on Rugby League, tune into our show next Wednesday at 8 p.m. here on Facebook or YouTube, or at your convenience on iHeartRadio or Spotify. Just remember to search for New Zealand Sport Radio. Cheers again for joining me, Richie, and thanks, Paul, for all your help in the background. And good night, everyone.